What's up, guys? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and thank you for joining me here once again for some free picks for the MLS. This time for Wednesday, September 18th. We have a full slate of the MLS games on the schedule, guys. You're getting a free pick for every single one of those games. We also have a big Champions League slate as well. 6 games on the schedule. And you can get free picks for that. They're all up on the Pick Dawgz YouTube channel, guys. So check it out. We appreciate you subscribing and, of course, hitting that like button. And feel free to leave a comment on any of these soccer videos that Kirk and I do, and we'll be happy to answer any of the questions you might have. Now, for my best bets, click the link in the description of this video. That will get you up to my page on the pickdawgz.com website. I will probably have a separate pass for the Champions League, a five pack, and then probably another either 3 or 4 or 5 pack for the MLS as well. But the best bet for you guys is to take that long-term pass, whether you want a 3-day pass or 7-day pass. That will get you covered all the way through the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday into the next week as well. So check it out, guys, and see if you like anything enough to sign up for that as well. Now, like I said, we have a busy slate in the MLS, guys. We won't take up too much of your time. So let's get this show on the road. Atlanta versus Inter Miami is the next game that we have. Inter Miami got Messi back in their last game against Philadelphia. They fell behind early to Philadelphia in that game at home, but then Messi with a couple of goals and Luis Suarez with a late one in like 97th minute or something like that to secure another 3 points for Inter Miami. Atlanta on the other side should have beaten Nashville in that game. That was a perfect opportunity for them to keep rolling and get closer to the playoff spot. But they ended up losing that game 2-0, and it's quite clear that we really cannot trust Atlanta to get a win. They might score a goal here because Inter Miami definitely is conceding goals quite consistently, especially when playing on the road. So I'm going to go for the full money here, guys, and that is Inter Miami to win and both teams to score at plus 245. New England and Montreal is the next matchup we have to talk about, guys, and I'm going to keep this one very, very simple. This should be a very competitive game. New England struggling a lot, won only one of their last 5 games, but they have been scoring goals quite consistently, especially when playing at home. Last time these two teams meet, they did beat Montreal 5-0 on the road. It was quite an embarrassing performance by Montreal, but they are coming off of a win against Charlotte this past weekend, and I think that they can score a goal here. So in this match, I'm taking both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at minus 125. New York City FC is hosting Philadelphia in the next matchup, and I'm keeping this one very, very simple, guys. Philadelphia has lost 4 of their last 5 games. They did get a win against New York Red Bulls 2-0 on the road, but I don't think that they can do the same to NYCFC. Yes, NYC hasn't won any of their last 4 games. They have a couple of losses and a couple of draws, but overall, they are the better team with less injuries, and they need to bounce back. So I'm gonna keep it simple, like I said, guys. I'm taking NYC on the money line at minus 133. Toronto and Columbus is another interesting matchup in the MLS. This one is being played in Toronto, guys. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. We have Toronto, who won 4 of their last 6 games, lost the other two. They don't have a single draw at home this season. They have 6 wins and 7 losses. It's not a particularly good score, but they are in the playoff spot right now, and they are healthy. They have Insigne, they have Bernardeschi, Owusu is ready to play. Uh, and a bunch of other players who have been carrying this team. So they will all be ready to play, and they need to go for the win against Columbus, who I agree is one of the best teams in the league, but they haven't won any of their last 2 games. They haven't scored a goal in any of their last 2 games, but I think that will change here because Toronto, let's be honest, they cannot keep a clean sheet. So instead of going with both teams to score an over 2.5, which is actually quite well priced, I decided to go with the over 2.75 Asian total line at minus 143. That seems a little bit less volatile because I could potentially see either of these two teams getting shut out. So over 2.75 at minus 143. Orlando is hosting Charlotte in Florida. That's an 8:15 p.m. Eastern time game. Orlando on a two-game winning streak right now, while winning four of their last six. They kept two clean sheets in a row in their last two home games, one against Nashville, one against New England this past weekend. While Charlotte on the other side hasn't beaten anyone in their last three games. They have only one win in their last six games overall. So this definitely seems quite clear to me, guys. We are taking Orlando on the money line at minus 139. Houston will be hosting Vancouver in another matchup in the MLS, and this one should be very interesting because we have two teams playing pretty well. Vancouver, especially on the road, one of the best away teams in the league, with 22 scored goals in 14 games, 16 conceded. They are in great form right now. They're healthy. They are coming off of a win against San Jose 2-0 at home. And I don't know, Houston, yes, they are very, very solid defensively when playing at home, but they're coming into this game with a few injuries, one suspended player as well, and they're not scoring particularly high amount of goals when playing at home. So I could potentially see a low scoring matchup in this one. But I also see Vancouver getting a positive result out of this game. So I'm taking Vancouver on the double chance at plus 110. And I honestly think this is going to be a nice winner for us. Minnesota and Cincinnati is the matchup at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This one is being played at Minnesota. And you know what? How do you see this matchup and not think of goals immediately? Neither side can keep a clean sheet, especially Minnesota. They have been struggling with that the entire season. But the good news for us is that they're both scoring goals. So both teams to score at over 2.5 goals, minus 143. I'm rolling with this one. Now, Nashville and Chicago is a very interesting matchup, guys. Both teams finally got a win. Both teams finally got a win. Nashville was able to beat Atlanta. Chicago beat New York Red Bulls 2-1 at home. Uh, and I don't know. I think both of these teams will not get to the playoffs, but they are pretty far away. There's not a lot of games left. But I think that they will both go for the win here. I think if they feel like potentially they are playing an opponent that's very similar to them, in a very, very similarly poor form as well. And I mean, if I had to choose a side, guys, it would be Nashville simply because they are the home team. But I think we see both teams scoring in this one. It's minus 143. I just, with the amount of the lack of defense that both teams have shown us this season, I just don't see either side keeping a clean sheet. So Nashville versus Chicago, I'm going with both teams to score. Kansas and Colorado should be a fun matchup as well. Kansas coming off of a loss to Seattle 2-0. Honestly, we saw two goals in that game, and there was zero in the second half, and I was quite disappointed in that. While Colorado on the other side is coming off of a 2-1 win against Portland, and they've scored at least two goals in each of their last three games. So, with all due respect to Kansas, I think they might do something in this game, but I'm taking Colorado team total over 1.5 goals at plus 115. Real Salt Lake is hosting Dallas in the next matchup, and I was watching Dallas a couple of weeks ago against Vancouver, and even though they have been scoring a lot of goals, most of those goals were when they were playing at home. So I'm not going to complicate this thing here. I know that Dallas is very much a different team when playing on the road and when playing at home, and they are now facing Salt Lake, who is one of the best teams in the league, especially when playing at home, with 30 scored goals and 14 conceded goals in 13 games. They have lost only three home games so far this season. So to keep it simple, guys, I'm taking Salt Lake on the money line at minus 139. LAFC and Austin is another interesting matchup in the MLS, guys. And LAFC is coming off of a very, very bad loss to Galaxy. They were ahead 2-0 in that game, ended up losing 4-3. They haven't beaten anyone in their last three games while losing three of their last five games. Austin, on the other side, is also on a losing streak. They've lost three of their last four games. They did show some offensive firepower, and they could potentially do some damage to LAFC in this game. However, I'm not really willing to put my money on Austin here or LAFC for that matter, which is why I decided to take Austin over 3.5 quarters at minus 115. I think that they can create enough to get at least 4 quarters in this game, potentially score a goal or maybe two, create some decent chances, and that should get us over this 3.5 line, 4 quarters for Austin. Portland and Galaxy is a match where a lot of goals are expected. As we can see, over 2.5 is priced at minus 278, which is definitely too juiced to take. But I do agree with the books. I think we should see a high amount of goals. Galaxy has gone over 2.5 in like their last 7 of 9 games or something like that. Portland is coming off of a loss 2-1. They're usually very, very good when it comes to scoring goals at home. They did score 35 goals in 14 games. And like I said, I do agree with the books. I think this is going to be a match where we see a lot of goals. And with that in mind, guys, I'm going to go with over 1.5 goals in the first half at plus 100. And the last pick of this video, guys, is another matchup on the West Coast, Seattle versus San Jose Earthquakes. And I was watching San Jose against Vancouver the other day. They're simply a bad team. I mean, they are probably playing a little bit better when they're at home, but when they're on the road, they are slow, they are sloppy, they are disorganized in the defensive. And the only reason why they lost only 2-0 to Vancouver is because their goalkeeper saved like 5 chances and Vancouver hit like 3 posts or something like that. So it could have been a lot worse for San Jose, and I think that's gonna come to fruition in this game. Seattle is on a 2-game winning streak. They've scored 6 goals in those 2 games, kept a couple of clean sheets. They are on the roll right now. They're heating up for the playoffs, guys. And I think that they get the job done in this one. So I'm taking Seattle minus 1.5 at plus 102. That's it, guys. Thank you for joining me here. These were the free picks for the MLS on Wednesday. Like I said, check out the Champions League picks. We've been doing pretty well on Tuesday with those. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. Well, for the Golden Boot VIP access, text the word goal to 443-780-5663, and we'll get you set up with that as well. That's it, guys. Good luck, and I'll see you soon with more free winners.